Hey guys, so the title of this video might have you asking, what? How are dragons bad? And that's a pretty fair question that we're going to have to address in this video. One of the absolute biggest mistakes that low elo junglers make is simply overvaluing objectives, and more specifically overvaluing an immediate reward instead of a good game state. I can't begin to explain how many times players in low elo have spam pinged me during my Smurf commentaries and flame me for choosing to ignore dragon when they think that it's free. We of course will still go on to win the game regardless of this fact, and it's because dragon just always isn't the best thing to do. And before you start typing up a comment saying about how we always talk about doing objectives, there is a lot of nuance in League of Legends, and that's what we're going to show. Let's get right into it. To start, let's just talk about how we should view League of Legends. At its core, it's a game of resource management and decision making. You spend resources of some kind to get some kind of result. Let's just go back to basic math and simplify this by just saying x equals y. X is whatever resource we're willing to spend to get some kind of result. Nothing in League is truly ever free, because you're giving up the opportunity to do something else in exchange. I essentially spend my time, map positioning, or abilities and cooldowns to receive a dragon. I could however choose to spend my time on something else to get a different reward. So now we need to figure out, how do we choose between the two? Well, what does dragon actually do for us? Mostly it gives us a pretty irrelevant buff on its own, but gets us closer to Sol. However, it doesn't really help us secure the next couple of dragons we need for it to actually make an impact. And if we don't even need the dragon soul to win the game, what's really the point? Well, denying it from the enemy can be good, but when you have so much control of the game that also doesn't matter, you really shouldn't care about dragon. In this particular game, my individual lead is so much more important when trying to convert the game to a win. If I can fight the enemy jungler and 1v1 anyone on the enemy team, future dragon opportunities as well as teamfights and skirmishes are all going to be so much easier. At the time where my team really wanted to do dragon, I risked potentially giving up my top lane advantage due to Hecarim having a free gank, my entire top side, access to counter jungling Hecarim's bot side, as well as just general pacing on my own camps. Giving up access to potentially all of these things for a really mediocre buff just doesn't sound that great. I wouldn't have been able to hit 6 by taking away the enemy raptors, blow Set's flash, make it in time to counter the top gank, blow the enemy teleport, and well, I'm sure you can see where I'm going with this. The game could have gotten really out of hand in this sequence here if I didn't have the individual lead or the positioning on the map that I did. Had something gone wrong here, I would have lost access to future dragons anyways, and I value having the control over the map much more than the immediate dragon. Even the play that happens after all of this would have been impossible because I surely would have passed away from bot after the dragon had I done it. I get a free double, and now makes the most sense to take Drake. The game has stabilized to a point where I don't risk giving up plays across the whole map, and I'm strong enough that it doesn't take as much time to do as it would have before. This dragon ends up being completely inconsequential anyways, considering that the game ends at 16 minutes and I'm massively ahead because I prioritize that lead instead of the objective. We also know that some of the big complaints with videos like this is that some viewers can feel like it's too results based. But let's just analyze a likely situation. Let's just say that we trade the dragon for our entire top side. We just explained how much we value dragons, so how do we explain how much we value jungle camps? Well, let's just say that 4 or so camps in the early game gives us a level. This level gives us on average about 600 gold worth of stats, as well as even more gold value that comes from leveling up our abilities and unlocking new ones like our ultimate at level 6. This doesn't include the average of about 100 gold for killing each jungle camp, so that puts us at a rough estimate of about 800 gold for our whole top side, and that's probably on the low end. But we don't stop there. The enemy jungler gets about 800 gold of value from taking everything, but that also means that we lose out on the ability to get it, doubling the actual value of their counter jungling. Now when we weigh dragon up to 1600 gold, which one would you rather have? Seems pretty simple, right? On top of this, low elo players are notorious for ruining their tempo and overstaying to get dragons, losing out on invaluable base timings and ruining their lanes, even if they manage to get ahead early. Because of this, I just won't force my teammates to stay at bad times to do dragon when I know that them being ahead in their lanes will make whatever plays I want to do later much easier. Take for example this game in a recent Smurf commentary that I played. Vayne and Camille just finished killing my bot lane, and now Warwick runs through all of his camps to beeline straight for dragon. It's really early, so death timers are short, and Vayne and Camille should definitely be recalling right now to keep pressure and tempo in their lane. By staying, they give our team a chance to push out the wave and crash it to tower, had Jhin not inted his wave management at least. On top of Warwick dying and me taking his raptors, I get my Gromp, wolves, raptors, bot crab, and his Krugs in the time he takes to get dragon and blue buff. At this point, I'm 2 levels ahead and definitely have a huge gold lead. And even though they get the first Drake and the second, well, I use this lead I got early to just run over the rest of the game. Dragon changes nothing in this game for him, and it really should be treated as more of an insurance policy if you can't close out the game. I ended this game 6,000 gold and 4 levels up. Warwick getting the first 2 dragons didn't even put a dent in my game plan, and I actually ended up picking up the last 2 they would have needed for soul because I had such a huge individual lead. For yet another example, let's just look at a coaching session I had with a Plat subscriber. He ganks mid and gets a double kill onto the enemy mid and jungle, so it's pretty obvious from here that we're gonna look for some way to get a lead. The obvious play is just to run to dragon, right? Well, now that you've watched the first part of this video, we'd hope that you'd at least question it a bit. Not only does he tunnel completely on going to dragon, not even panning his camera to bot once to see if Ashe or Maokai were diveable, he doesn't check the enemy jungle to take away camps, or account for the fact that soloing dragon as Ivern, even at level 7 with red buff, takes an absolute eternity. Well, the worst case scenario happens and Shaco walks up in stealth to steal it away anyways. We could have denied a huge bot wave, denied Shaco's most valuable camp, and gotten 2 kills and plates for our ADC instead. Could our bot lane have walked over and helped us with dragon? Absolutely. But is it even that good for us if we could have gotten the alternative and then set up for the dragon after our base? Well, probably not. Most of the time with good reset timers and a few wards, you won't have to worry about the enemy taking dragon, and you can just worry about everyone being ahead enough to actually contest them later on in the game. The enemy team actually gets soul in this game, partly because we could have been way farther ahead than we were and controlled the map better had we chosen to not get dragon and instead do something else. Just like with everything in this game, League is very situational, and there definitely are good times and reasons you want to do dragon, so don't ignore it entirely. We just wanted to make a video that gets you thinking more about your alternatives and the fact that you always give up something to get something else. There is no such thing as a truly free dragon. By the way, we just want to make sure you all know where this guide comes from. Skillcapped. It's the best place to be if you actually want to improve at League of Legends. We have the best and the most League of Legends guides on the internet that really do work. The best part is you don't have to take our word for it. If you don't climb 5 divisions while actively using Skillcapped, you can claim a full refund. So give it a shot and get the rank you've always wanted for Season 11. Check us out right after this. Thanks for watching, and we hope you learned something. Until next time, go get some elo, and happy jungling.